In today's video, we're going to look at how to add project info to the project list page and also to the project overview page. So at the moment what we're looking at is the project list page, and you can see there's project name and client name. If I want to click into a project, I then come into project overview page, and within the project overview page there's client, design team, client contacts, time frame, planning number, upcoming dates and latest activity. So if I wanted to get rid of this latest activity and pop in some other more information that would make a bit more sense to myself, if I wanted to have a quick look at certain things that I have within the project that I want to see, I can do that. And as well as that, if I want to have it available on a project list page, I can also do it there. So just to show you some of the information that you could potentially show on this page, the project list page or the project overview page, if we come into a project and we click on edit project, now you'll see that there's a number of detail here that you can have access to, or that you can show on the project overview page. So for example, the project type, new build and project leader. So the project leader just pulls from the users on the system. So I can save those details. They're saved on the project, but I can't see them on the project overview. So if I want to come in and change that, I can come to my settings and I can scroll down to this option here of project overview screen layout, and I can pick the name that I want to call the information that I want to see. So if I want to put in project leader, and then I can pick from a drop down of a number of different bits of information that is available to me there on the system. So field data, if I just want to come through here and halfway down I can find project underscore leader. I'll click on that and I'll select save details, and I'll come back into my Boyle Street project, and on the right hand side I have my project leader, Philip Dowling. Now where that information is being pulled from is if I go back into my edit project page, I can see project leader Philip Dowling. If I was to change that to Colm Greenan and click on save details, the name Colm Greenan would then appear. Now you'll notice that there's another option there, project type or category, new build. So that doesn't appear on the project overview page as of yet. But again, if you wanted that to show up, go back to your settings, scroll down to the project overview screen layout, type in what it is you want to see, so project type, and then choose from the drop down menu. So field data, I'm just going to come down here until I find the project category. So I can select project category, and then I can click up to the top, save details, select my projects again and go into Boyle Street extension, and then you can see project type, although I've spelled it slightly wrong. So if I just come back in here and just correct that spelling from type there at NDE and click on save details, jump back into Boyle Street extension, and you can see project type new build. And again, if I want to come in and change that, select edit project, change from new build to refurbishment, click on save details, and the refurbishment then appears as the project type. So there are bits of information that you can add in yourself. If there's other certain bits that you want to see, so if you wanted to have the brief description appear, if you wanted the site address to appear, you can always do that. So if I jump into 87 Order Court here and I go into the edit project page, you can see that there's a bit of information there on the brief description. There's a site address, and there's a few bits of other information that I want to appear on the system. So if I go to my settings, scroll down to the project overview screen layout, and I want to see description of works, so I'm just going to pop in what I want it to be called on the project overview page, description of works, and then I have to look for the brief description underneath the field data. The drop down appears again, and as I scroll through it I come across project underscore brief underscore descript. Click on that, and then if I want to pick another option there as well, so if I go to the drop down and I have a look through and I say okay, site address, so I want to put in the site address, so I can put in the project address as the name, and I come up to the top of the page and select save details, and then come back in, and you'll notice if I go into Boyle Street extension, description of works, project address, or if I jump into 87 Order Court, you'll see description of works, project address. Now you'll notice that the project type on this project is 0. If I come in and select edit project, I can then change project type to extension or other. I'll pick other there, save details, and the project type other appears on the project page. Now you'll notice on the project overview or the project list page that nothing has changed. So what you need to do then is, if you want some of that information to appear here on the right hand side, you come back into the settings page and you pop in the different options there on the right hand side of project list page screen layout. So if you wanted the project leader, and again you just look for the same type of information, project leader, and you want, say, the project type, and again just look for the relevant underscore here. So if I'm looking down through my different ones and I know that project category is the one I'm looking for, I can then scroll up to the top of the page and click save details, and then you can notice that if I have a look here, project leader and project type then starts to appear on the projects that I've added that information to. Now if you want to come back and you notice that there's a bit of information that you guys use in your own office but it's not appearing on the Architect Pro system, so if there's a certain thing, so say for example you wanted to use the example of a sector, so you wanted to put in what sector the project is being built in, you can then actually edit the Architect Pro system to add that in. And how you would do that is you come into the settings page and then you come into the option of custom project data fields. You click on the first box of field description, so I'm just going to pop in sector, and then field name. So field name, I'm just going to put in project underscore sector, and then I'm going to put in select. So by putting in select, what I'm doing here is I'm actually allowing the system to pick from a drop down. Now the drop down will be full of options in the input options tab. So if I just add a bit of detail there, so if I wanted to say, I don't want to add project leader, but say I wanted to put in educational, I wanted to put in retail, residential, and commercial development. And then I leave my default value as blank. Now you'll have to excuse the OR is broken on this particular laptop, so that's why we're getting the ORs popping in. And if I go up to my top of the page and click on save details, now when I've clicked on save details, that saves the sector as an option. So if I was to go back into my project and go to Buzz Street Extension and go to edit, sector now appears as an option there under the project edit page, and I can click on the box beside it and those options of educational, retail, residential and commercial development appear, so I can then choose any one of those. Now what I want to do is I want those bits of information to appear on my project overview page, so I want them to appear here, and I also want them to appear here on my project list page. So what I want to do then is I want to go back into my settings and I want to scroll down past the custom project data fields and come into project overview screen layout and project list page screen layout, and I want to type in what I want to see. So again, I'm going to just type in sector. I'm going to pick from the drop down the very bottom here, project sector, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite side, which is the project list page. Pick from my drop down the very bottom, project sector. If I click on save details, go to project list page, you'll have the option of sector there. If I click into a project, you'll have the option of sector there. So if I come in down to sector and change that to educational or change that to retail, click on save details, and then I go back into, say, 87 Orla Court, and I go into sector is blank at the moment. I click on edit project, scroll down to sector and put in commercial development. Click on save details and sector commercial development appears here, and it also then appears on the project list overview page, project list page of 87 Orla Court, and you'll be able to see the sector commercial development appear here on the right hand side. and that's a overview of how to use custom field data. So I hope that helps, and if you need any more detail on that, don't be afraid to give us a call.